Okay.
I'm streaming.
Okay. So we are back in the jungle, back in Tomb of Annihilation. Last week was a lot of exploring, gathering information about possible side quests and things like that. You guys had left Camp Vengeance and wandered your way through the jungle, dodging dangers such as undead and some mysterious blue mist. You came across a odd metallic and wood statue, which you presume to be the missing shield guardian Vorn. It looked worn down, immobile. Sort of. The hinges worked, as we know when we toppled it over. But it had been set up as some sort of possibly a shrine. There looked to be little offerings on the ground, maybe little bits of food or shiny rocks or things like that. As well, it had a lot of painting around it, and a painting on it. Tribal painting. It looked like ceremonial stuff, different markings. The area around it had also been somewhat cleared. And so, yeah, it looked like it had been turned into a kind of a shrine. No solid idea who. That said, there were a number of signs in the surrounding area, particularly footprints, indicating it could be goblins or grungs, which are a strange frog people, or even
fungus
what were the
people.
other ones called? The fungus people.
Vegapigmies.
Vegapigmies. Thank you. The freshest tracks appear to be goblin, and so we followed those for a couple of days, but it seemed like it may be still a number of miles out. We went about 20 miles following those tracks, but didn't come across any sort of goblin settlement. And so we decided, in the interest of time, you were going to turn around and continue the main thrust of the quest you're on right now, which is to find a mysterious place called Orolunga. The guide you have with you, Aku, she claims to know where Orolunga is. I believe she recommended it in the first place as a place of mystery, but a place of knowledge, as you're trying to find out how best to spend your effort, where the best place to go on the peninsula might be, what to search for. The jungle is a big place, and it might be hard to find what the cause of this death curse is. Apparently, there is an oracle of some kind here at Orolunga that might be able to help. Place of knowledge. And as you trekked your way through the jungle, took quite a while. It has now been, I believe, 31. It's been close to 50 days since the curse started on the world. You guys have been in the jungle for quite a while. Long trek. Fortunately, you're pretty good at scavenging for food, and this is a lush area, and you prepared well with for water and insect repellent as well. Remind me, did anyone write down how much insect repellent did you guys have? You guys stocked up, didn't you?
It was like 3 things. I thought it was 90.
Maybe it was 90.
See.
Because I got 3 things in my inventory, I think.
Three whats? 3 blocks?
Yeah, 3 of the blocks.
Okay.
Insect repellent salve. I have 55, which means I've used 5 days. How many days have we gotten? That means I got 60 days worth. And you said it was how many days we've been in the jungle now?
30?
Since you left the jungle? Or since you went into the jungle?
Yeah, since we left Arrow.
Let's see.
Because I started with 60 at Port Nianzaro.
I'm down to 34.
We left on the 23rd of Tarsak, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus 18 is 27. Yeah.
Okay, so 27 minus 60 is, I think you're right, Danny. is what 30. You said was it 37? My math is bad.
33.
30.
I think it's 33.
Okay, there we go.
It's one
counts
cell
as
per day,
15.
right?
Yeah. Once a day keeps the scourges away. Sturges, the steerages. What are they called again? The giant mosquitoes.
Sturge. Yeah.
Okay.
Insects.
Yeah. Nobody wants those.
Gotta find where. I don't care that much right now. Doesn't matter. The point is, we're deep in the jungle, and you've just, as you came up close, within about 20 miles of Orlunga, Eku took the lead, saying she recognizes this area, and has led you guys towards it. And that is where we find ourselves. Orlunga. As you push through the trees and some of the underbrush, eventually comes into view a massive brick and stone ziggurat that rises from the jungle. If you're unfamiliar with that word, a ziggurat is like one of those square-stepped pyramids that we often associate with like Inca or Maya architecture. Or for those who have seen The Legend of Vox Machina, that was the end of season 1. They had a ziggurat. They're just large structures. There's 2 staircases that angle up and across the front face, one from the right and the other from the left, to meet at a landing on the second level. It's about 30 feet above your heads. That layout then repeats on the second level and the third level, but with each successive layer adding less height than the one below it. To ultimately the fourth story up, the fourth level up, is about 60 feet over the jungle floor. And on that top layer, about 60 feet up, is a enclosed like shrine or temple. Its walls are adorned with labyrinth symbols. The jungle around the ziggurat encroaches just right up to it and even onto the ancient structure. The first couple flights of steps are choked with creepers and tree roots and flowering vines. It might have been. It's possible this was surrounded by a city maybe long ago, but if it was, the jungle is just so dense that it would take hours of searching to find any sort of buried foundations or tumbled stones or anything. Like the jungle has really started to reclaim this. As you get close, Eku proudly announces that we're here. This is the place. This is the structure known as Orlunga. She says that the oracle waits at the top. She's never attempted to speak with the oracle. She doesn't even know the oracle's name if it has one. But she knows that it's supposed to be rather difficult, not just getting through the jungle, but the oracle is rather private and doesn't always see people, and so she's not sure how difficult it actually is to get up there. But I mean, it's about 60 feet of steps, so she doesn't know what'll await you at the top. But this is Orlunga. Time of day. I'm kind of feeling like a 2 in the afternoon. So the sun is high, bugs are swarming, birds and monkeys are chirping in the trees around. And yeah, welcome to Orlunga. Who's feeling brave? Actually, do you even know what you're going to ask the oracle?
No, that was actually going to be my next question to the party.
Right.
I'll let you guys discuss.
Thoridne would probably say, like, we should probably ask for where this obelisk is. Perhaps this is the source of the death curse, but also perhaps maybe what we might need to put an end to it.
Or we could ask for the location of the object responsible for the death curse. That way we're not making an assumption.
You're quite right, Smoke. I think that is the best answer. You're right.
Professor, you got any ideas?
I don't. I'm still trying to ponder, like, do we want to just head straight beeline for it, or do we want to try and get some, like, find allies, or... There's just so many options here that are going through my head, I don't know what to suggest.
Tenzin will kind of like slap the professor on the shoulder, like it's a light, like playful slap to kind of get his attention, and then points to like his bicep as he flexes, and then points to like more people.
You've got to take a dump?
And then after that happens, he says that Tenzin is like, and then just slaps him across the face just for funsies.
Take 10 damage.
Oh boy.
I mean, would we be able to find allies without the help of the Oracle? Versus, would we be able to find the source of the curse without the help of the Oracle?
I mean, or do we go up there as individual people and each get a question?
I also like this idea.
What does Eku say about any of this? Is this something that she would tell us how to like proceed?
Eku has never been up there and doesn't know how he is, knows the Oracle is private. All the stuff that Nathan just told us.
Never mind. The stuff that I was probably... I'm sorry. I'm very tired right now. But I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
It's okay, Zach. It's okay.
Yeah, Eku has never journeyed up there to speak to the Oracle.
Okay.
Why do I feel like we're going to get up to the top and they're going to be like, it's going to be yogurt in the shorts?
Oh, and to add, Eku has no desire to meet the Oracle at this time.
All right.
Seems personal. So she will wait for you down here.
Do we maybe want to go in 2 different groups? That way, maybe like the first group asks the first question, the second group asks the second question.
I feel like if her name is the Oracle, she'll know that we're trying to be cheesy about this and just...
I mean,
your group already got the answer.
We also don't know what we're really going to be dealing with up there. I say we just go as a group.
I mean, also, we're kind of burning daylight, so why don't we make our way up there and understand what the situation is, and then decide, like, we at least know the 2 questions we're deciding between. Right?
Where is the thing, and where is the thing?
Pretty much. And if this Oracle is good, they'll know that we have 2 questions, and maybe they'll answer them both. So...
let's do it.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
Also, because I am paranoid, Smoke is going to just keep an eye out for anything that looks like, you know, if we're walking up the outside, loose stones that could lead to someone tripping and falling, something that could open like a trapdoor, things like that.
That's fair. Smoke, if you want to just preemptively just go ahead and give me like a perception check, just so we can have that in our back pocket. Excellent. So the stairwell up, while it is somewhat wider, maybe some of you could walk abreast. At least at the very bottom, it's covered in so many tangles and vines and such that you're probably going to need to push through that brush in some sort of single file or something like that. So just in case it comes up, who's taking the lead? How are we going? Who's going up first, or do we have a marching order?
I'll go first.
If you're cool with it, I'd like to sit on your shoulders.
Sure, why not? Wouldn't be the first time.
Sweet. Excellent.
Tenzien will follow after those two.
Here, and actually for the ease of tracking, you can come back to the map if you want to look at things, but I'm just going to have the welcome page. It has all our tokens on it. I'll just move tokens around because that'll make life easy for remembering. So we said, who was first? We said Smoke.
The professor,
professor.
and then I'm sitting on his shoulders.
Okay, cool. We'll put that there. And then Tenzin was following after.
I guess I'll be kind of in the middle. It doesn't matter.
And I'll bring up.
Excellent. The steps from the ground to the first level of the ziggurat, they're much wider than I thought. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's still covered in tangle roots, but they're actually like 50 feet long. Wow. Anyway, it rises about 30 feet off the jungle floor to the first landing.
Just to clarify, as we go through this, I'm pushing the vines out of the way and not chopping them.
Okay, so stepping on them, moving aside, things like that. You're trying not to damage them?
Yeah, try not to damage them too much.
Okay, good to know.
If we get to a point where we have to make a damage, let me know.
Yeah. The first maybe 10 feet of your climb goes pretty well, but man, you start encountering a lot sharper vines and thorns and things like that as you get going. You're pretty sure this is, if you keep going after that first 10 feet, you're pretty sure this might start to hurt, Professor. Did you want to keep climbing?
I mean, can we see anything that that looks like there's a clearing or something along the path? Are we even sure we're on the path?
Well, I mean, it's a stairwell up, but there's just lots of vines. Make a choice, perception or survival. No, perception. Let's do perception.
Both of us, or just the professor?
Just Professor.
Stupid vines everywhere.
Looking around, most of it just seems very similar. You see a couple spots that might hurt a little less, but man, there's just a lot of thorns guarding this way up. It's you can try to push through it or try to do something else.
I'm thinking.
As let's see, as you're thinking about it, Smoke, you see some tiny little creatures moving in amongst the foliage, not just around where you're at, but like just the whole length of it. Some of it down on the ground. Some of it is little critters, little birds pecking for food, things like that. You see what looks like maybe a kind of mouse running around. But what catches your eye is with that perception check. What catches your eye is actually these little. They look like. Well, let's see. What do they look like? They look like little black dolls running among the things. Not very large, maybe like 6 inches tall or so. They look like black dolls with these strange white masks on their face, running among the foliage. Spindly limbs, wild hair. You see them darting in and out, kind of like little spirits. They seem maybe a little shy. One or two of them are watching you, but others are just kind of running around, playing with blades of grass and things like that. Let me see if I can get you. Yeah.
So I would like to hop down from the professor's shoulder and kind of bring myself down as close to their level as I can. and then I'll like give him a little wave, and then I give him that cat face where my pupils blow like super wide and my ears are back. And I want to see how they react to that.
Hit him with the eyes. Hit him with the eyes.
There's a couple that are kind of close to you as you jump down. Most of them, there was like 2 or 3 near each other. 2 of them scatter. The one that's left is kind of looking at you momentarily, kind of as much as you could lock eyes with a mask. You lock eyes, kind of a little spirit thing. Its face resembles like a triceratops head or something. And you see it's carrying this little, a rather large orange and purple orchid. It's got a flower in its hand, little orchid, orange and purple. After a moment, it also turns and runs and bolts up the steps. And as you watch it go, and it's bolting up in the direction you're wanting to go, but as it bolts up there, you can see some of the vines pulling back before it, and then they close up again. So it's not necessarily ducking in between the vines. The vines are actually retreating from it as it goes.
Okay. Do I see any of those orchids nearby? And if I get close to the vines and thorns, like, do they react at all?
You don't see any in your immediate vicinity, but they didn't seem entirely out of place. You might be able to go find some in the jungle. Go search for that. Could take a little bit though, but I mean, you have time.
I want to try something real quick. If I take the moonstone out of my pocket and I set it on the ground in front of where it disappeared into the vines, do they do anything?
Moonstone?
I have a moonstone in my inventory.
That's just money, really.
So where'd you get that? Just a random gemstone, or was it from somewhere I forgot significant?
It was from the first temple we went into. Found a little moonstone, I think.
No, I thought it was because
crocodile
we beat up the
temple?
dude who owed money.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Remember he gave us like a pouch full of gemstones?
That's right. Okay, cool. Sorry, I just wanted to double check there wasn't like some weird significance, like it wasn't inside the alchemy jar or something.
Yeah, no.
You're seeing if the vines react to it at all. They do not.
No, I'm saying if the little people react to me placing that where they disappeared into.
Oh, gotcha. No, it's just a rock on the ground.
Okay, so I'll pick up my moonstone and then I will tell the group what I saw and then say maybe the orchid is the trick to getting through the vines. And ask, do we want to go grab some down at the base of the ziggurat?
I suppose it wouldn't hurt to try.
Makes logical sense.
I mean, you still have the option of just charging up the stairs or trying to hack away at the vines or something like that. But just throwing it out there.
How much damage would we have to take going through all the thorn vines, though?
That's the thing.
Aboutly.
As you kind of test at one of the vines and kind of look at the density of it, they would start shredding at your clothes, shredding at your skin as you charge up it. It'd be about 1 slashing damage per foot.
Oof.
How many feet do we have?
Let's see, you're able to get 10 feet up the stairs without damage. And the total is about 30 feet to the first landing. So yeah, it'd be about 20 feet. So
Yeah, I wouldn't make it.
Probably about 20 slash.
I'd have 1 hit point left if that was the case.
I'd have 14.
Okay. Well, I guess then we're looking for some flowers.
Dumb
And
question. Would Tenzien's resistance stop some of that as he ran through it? If he raged?
If you're raging.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? If you're willing to commit the resources to it, I might as well let it work. So 1 damage every 2 feet for Tenzin.
I guess as another follow-up, with Tenzin kind of crashing through and like hacking, would he be able to like create an open, like a 5-foot slice through the vines?
Maybe. You can try.
Listen, before you go charging in there is a whole society of 6-inch tall people. So let's try to do this the non-violent way, and then if it doesn't work, then we can go charging in.
Tenzin shrugs.
So I guess we're
Also,
going to backtrack and start looking for a... Well, you said it was like an orchid?
There we go. I dropped a photo of what these guys kind of look like. In the Discord. Yeah, it was carrying an orchid. From what Smoke saw, it was kind of orange and purple coloring to it. But yeah, it just kind of looked like an orchid.
also totally random thought, but would Tenzin be able to just yeet me over the top of the vines to the other side?
Well, I mean, vertically and 20 feet up, he probably wouldn't be able to get you the whole way. You could try it.
Okay, if this fails, we're gonna try it. All right, let's go.
Wanted to yeet you up.
No. I want to go find the flowers first. And actually, if Echo is still down, kind of chilling at the bottom, I would ask if they had any inkling of where we might find some growing, and if they have any kind of magical properties or something like that.
Okay. You guys are heading back down the stairs. As you get down there, you see Eku has put her bag on the ground. You see a small pile of twigs has started to be collected, possibly for a fire later. But she's actually disappeared off into the jungle, possibly collecting food or firewood or something like that.
Okay. Well, I guess my thought is sticking to the path that we used to get to where we are, so that we at least have some familiar ground, and then kind of seeing what we see from there before venturing into like the trees.
Sure, why not? I can
Smoke?
help.
Oh, I'm sorry. Smoke is going to wander off and try to find orchids, or an orchid or something. What I cut off Zach, I think. Zach, what were you going to do?
I was just saying I can go and help. So I guess I'm going with Smoke this time around.
Going to go help look for orchids. Did anyone else want to try anything different in the meantime? Professor's wandering out for orchids. Got it? You can all go search. That's not a problem. I'm just saying.
I think Gerald will stay by Eku's belongings and kind of like hang out and wait for her to come back if she comes back.
Gotcha.
Tenzin will also stay by the fire, or the start of the campfire. Anyway.
You're not going to go charging up the stairs raging?
No, like it asked politely, so Tenzin's like, okay, that's a reasonable thing.
Does anyone have training in nature?
No.
+1.
That is a -1 for me.
Well, not does anyone actually have the proficiency in it?
Nope.
I think I might.
Okay.
Hang on, let me look. I do have it.
You do have it. Okay. The three of you, well, I didn't actually need a roll, but the three of you wander off into the jungle, and start looking around, trying to find different places where it might be. Professor, you've got a decent idea about these orchids. What sort of level of shade they prefer, what sort of moisture level you might find them in. So you guys go off hunting for that kind of thing. Back at the camp, Tenzien, Gerald, they're gone for 10 minutes, 15, 20, 20. You find, like, what the heck? Where are these guys? They've wandered off. Eku, likewise, has not seemed to return yet. For her, that's not crazy unusual. If you guys were like setting camp, as far as foraging or things like that. So it's not at the level of worry for Eku yet. Finally, the professor and company come back about 30 minutes later. They found a small batch of these orchids and a number of others growing in a patch that's a little bit of a hike away. Went much quicker than it might have otherwise, because man, those things were hidden. But you were able to kind of zero in on what the odds were where they would find them. So it's about 30 minutes, and you make it back. There were plenty, so I don't know how many orchids you wanted to grab. If you're just grabbing the one, but there was a nice little patch growing there. So, and you are back at the camp.
Cool. I think an orchid per person.
I would say 2.
Yeah,
per
that was my
person.
plan. Was one per person.
Yeah.
Well,
I personally think only one is necessary.
but what if we need another one to get back through the vines?
Okay, that's fair. I'll put one in my pouch and then keep one out invisible and approach the vines.
Let me unmute. Smoke tries this out, walking up to the vines, and begins to step forward. At first, it's mostly going like it was the first time, but as you get about a quarter of the way up, you see some of the jungle roots and things like that start to pull back away from you. And you walk past the point where you guys stopped before, and all the vines seem to be shying away. And you're able to proceed up the stairs. Eventually making your way all the way up the 30 feet to the first landing.
Excellent. I'll stick it in my hat.
I'll put it in my lapel.
It seems Smoke has made it up safely with an orchid.
I will follow behind Smoke with my orchid and have it in my lapel.
I'll just stick in the same kind of order that we were in, unless somebody wants to go like in front or behind.
Tell me all about it.
Then Tenzin will shove his in his leather strap that goes across his chest to hold his great axe.
Mm.
Gerald will tuck his into his collar.
You want to stand up? You want to stand up? Here we go.
As you're making your way up, you see a handful of these little chwinga, these little spirit things running among the trees, and you can feel some out of place, like you can feel little cool breezes and smell flowers and things like that. Whenever you see one running past you, it's a very calming presence.
The orchid?
The nature seems. Oh no, the little spirits that are running around.
Oh, okay.
You see some of them now that you know what to look for. They seem in perfect harmony here. Make your way up to the second land. You get up to the second landing, and there's another stairwell climbing ahead of you. More stairs. These are clear of most of the foliage and things like that. They go up about 20 feet to the third landing or second lap. Man, numbers are hard. Stairwell number 2. It's about 20 feet up. Looking at the stairs, you can see this ziggurat is somewhat disrepair. There's lots of crumbled stone along the edges, and it's little patches of moss growing here and there, things like that. But at least you're out of the thorns, out of the vines. And we proceed forward, yes?
Yes.
Onward.
Onward. Same order. Professor, are you taking the lead again, or are we letting Smoke charge ahead?
I do have one question as we move forward. Is there a spot where there's been like orchids or any flowers been like placed anywhere? Like an offering almost.
Oh, sure. No, you don't see anything like that. In fact, not just orchids. You don't see any shrines or offerings or anything like that laid out.
Okay.
Perhaps there would be at the top, but nobody seems to have done anything like that halfway down, or at least they don't now in this, reclaimed by the wilderness kind of a state it's in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. It was worth asking, just in case.
Yeah, I'm just gonna follow right behind Smoke, let her charge away. This cat's got gumption.
I do indeed.
Smoke, as you start climbing up the steps, you make it up 1 or 2 steps, and then the stones start like crumbles underneath your feet into gravel. Then you quickly pull back. It's not like a drop trap or anything like that. But you're like, whoa, okay, can't quite make it up that one. We move to the side a little bit and try to climb up again, and more of the stone starts to disintegrate, and it's like becoming this little bit of a gravel slide there. It's like, what's going on here? More crumble. And as you kind of poke and prod at it, trying to find, how do I get purchased? Eventually the gravel or the steps, it's like you're not getting any progress. You feel like maybe you've gained a little altitude, but you look ahead of you and there's still a whole bunch of steps. It looks like it's not any closer. It's like you keep sliding back down.
Can I make some kind of check to see if there's like a spell in effect or some kind of illusion or anything like that?
You can, sure, make me a make me just like an investigation, I guess. Yeah, that's decent. Why not? Investigation. 17. Okay. Because unless you're actually casting like detect magic or something like that, I don't know if you have that. But just looking around for oddities, the gravel as it pours out, as the steps start to collapse into gravel and they start tumbling down. Strangely, none of it seems to be piling on the landing. It's like you've sent tumbles of rocks down, and so you'd expect it to, be making a little bit of a mess there. No mess. No gravel piling up on the steps below you. It's like it just evaporated. As you kind of chuck at one again and watch the gravel tumble down, kind of seeing where it goes, it's strange. It's disorienting. It's like something out of a fairy tale where you don't see where the gravel goes, and you thought you were keeping a close eye on it, but suddenly it's just gone, and you're not sure what happened while you were watching it.
Can I like hold my hand underneath where the gravel would fall to hit the ground on the landing?
Oh, sure. If you're doing that closely, I mean, you can pick some up, and it seems to stick around for a little bit, and then you turn your eye and go mess with something else over here, trying to plot the next move, and then it's like, wait, where did it go? And you feel like you've lost track of where it is. So yeah, I mean, it's not like you can't hold piles of gravel in your hand, but eventually you start to lose track of it, like it's self-cleaning or some sort of weird illusion or something like that. Feels pretty solid. Trippy place. Who's perceptive?
Ooh.
My passive perception is a 17.
Whoa. Okay, I thought I was passively perceptive, but never mind.
No, but you're dealing with other things.
Fair enough.
You know what? Thoridne's a good one. Thoridne,
Yeah.
as you're watching Smoke kind of play around in the gravel, tumbling down steps, landing on her feet, because she's a cat.
Yeah.
You see another of those little spirit things come running through Tenzien's legs as it goes scrambling up some of the steps, maybe 10 or 15 feet away from where you guys are. It like runs out and scrambles up, and it's carrying a feather just like you guys had before. You see it's got one of those little orange and purple orchids, but there's also some other color mixed in there. And as you look closer at it, you see it's got some sort of red thing, like it looks like a feather it's holding with its little orchid, and it goes running up, and you can see it disappear over the lip of the upper landing as it scrambles up the steps. A little far away as we're kind of watching Smoke trying to figure out the best path, but you spot this little guy go running up with the flower, but that flash of red kind of stands out to you. Is that like a feather? What is that?
All right. Do you want me to do a perception, or that's just what I see?
No, that's what you see.
Okay. I will look at the group and just be like,
Well, I have some bad news and some good news. Which do you want first?
Tenzin holds up his thumb down.
The bad news is I think we have to go back down shortly, unless we're lucky around this area. The good news is we have to find, it looks like a feather. I saw one of those small creatures run up with what looked like a reddish feather. I don't know if the color matters, but that seemed to be what got him up this next part.
Well,
With Thoridne saying that, do we see any other of these little spirit creatures?
None that are running up the steps. Looking closely, you can kind of see a couple peeking between some vines down below you, but
Gerald would like to take a silver coin out of his pocket and kneel down on the ground and wave to the little spirit dude and gently push the coin towards him. Them.
As you kneel down, you see a couple of them freeze and they're kind of looking in your direction. But as you start to push something towards them, you see them like they're shy or anxious or something. They bounce up and kind of scatter deeper into the vines. That said, where they were, you see two little feathers plucked in there, a green one and a blue one, that are kind of tucked in among the vines where these two guys were sitting.
Just the feathers, they're not attached to one of this.
Oh, they're not attached to a bird or anything, no, or to one of these things. No, it's like they were just laying there in the vines, and these guys were sitting on them, and then as they spooked and ran off, you see those there.
Can I reach in and grab those feathers?
Yeah, they're not too far. It's maybe 3 feet down from the landing where you were.
Cool.
So you can just walk down the steps and kind of grab at them.
Sweet.
The vines are still pulling back from your orchid.
Nice. Yeah. I'm gonna pick those up and tuck one into the orchid in my collar and then hold out the other one and say, well, I don't know, like Thoridne said, I don't know if the color matters, but here's another feather.
I'm willing to try it. I'll stick a feather in my hat and call it macaroni. And start making my way up the stairs.
And I follow right behind Smoke.
All right. As you let's see, so we have Smoke is walking up the steps. The professor is behind her. You guys can walk a little more abreast now. So Gerald, you're going up the steps as well with one of these flowers.
So if Thoridne and Tenzien want to like stay hot on my heels, maybe we'll be able to all make it up without all of us needing feathers.
Sounds like we could try it at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Okay. Go team, go.
Go Team Feather.
As you guys decide to make a break for it, you start climbing up the steps, and very quickly the stone just starts crumbling under your feet and like trips you a little bit, and you go sliding back down. It's like, oh,
And that's everybody?
yes. Tenzin keeps his feet and is able to kind of like prop people briefly for a moment, so you're not completely falling, but the professor and Smoke just go sliding. And all the way back down. Yep.
Okay. With that in mind, then, can I root through the vines specifically looking for red feathers?
The vines? Okay.
Yeah.
Smoke takes off, running along this platform here, because like I said, it's like kind of a square pyramid kind of thing. And you see her looking closely in at the tangles as she's going, and eventually disappears around the corner. Just going, what can we see from this landing?
If you have to, if you're rolling for that, Smoke, go ahead and give yourself an extra D4. I'm going to cast guidance on you.
Thank you. Do I need to roll for it?
Ooh. Yeah. Why not? Roll me a survival.
Also, Smoke, you have the blue feather, because I kept the green feather.
Okay.
Hold on, I need to add my D4.
Smoke goes wandering off, trying to find more feathers or whatever. What are you looking for? More
Red feathers.
You're wanting red feathers. Okay. We're gonna wait for her to see what she finds, or did anyone want to try anything else in the meantime? It's gonna take her a couple minutes.
Nope.
Okay. Cool.
Gerald would like to try walking up the steps by himself and see what happens.
You kind of brush yourself off and wander over to another part of the steps. It looks pretty solid, hasn't crumbled yet, and you're walking up, feeling pretty good. Steps seem to like you. You're taking each one gingerly as you go. You make it up about 5 or 6 steps, and then a whole like 5-foot section of it just crumbles. It's like you hit it wrong. And you ever seen one of those videos of like sand dunes when they scoop it and suddenly the whole thing starts sliding? It's like a whole bunch of the rocks just start crumbling and turn to gravel, and you dig your feet in trying to get purchase in this, and it's like real slippery, and suddenly you just find yourself sliding back down. Yeah. Stupid steps.
For real.
Smoke comes wandering back after a little bit. She's found 3 of these little red feathers at various points. You feel like you were able to go quite a distance over, but you didn't make a full circuit of the upper landing, unless you were really wanting to.
I mean,
but you did find 3.
I'd try to find at least 5 for the party, but if I'm willing to try putting one in my hat and then sitting on the professor's shoulders to see if that counts.
Let's do it.
I mean, you could take more time if you want to. I'm just saying. It was only a couple minutes. It was like 5 minutes of searching. Got you these 3.
Oh, cool. Yeah, then I'll spend a couple extra
flying
minutes.
around.
Yeah, I'll spend a couple extra minutes then if it only took me like 5 minutes to find those.
Yeah, you found a little patch that had a couple of them bundled up. You find yourself ranging a little farther each time, having to go down into the vines a little bit. They don't seem to hate you too much. At least you don't get that scraped up. Find yourself 2 more. Yeah, why not?
Cool. And then in return, I will leave a little. What do I got in my inventory? I'll leave a little gold piece in the vines, and just walk away.
Wow.
Let's go straighten it out.
Okay, 1 gold piece. And you come back and find where your friends are gathered on the landing.
Cool. I hand each of them a feather, and then I start trying to walk back up the stairs again.
Right on our heels.
Yep, let's go.
All right, feeling good this time. You wander up the steps. You're going 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is working. We only got to go about 20 feet up. There is one little moment where a rock tumbles out from underneath Thoridne's foot as he's climbing, but it doesn't trigger the whole cascading gravel thing as you're going. It just, okay, wait, other foot's good, and we keep walking up. Eventually, you guys find your way up to the second landing. Ooh. And at the second landing, you're 50 feet above the jungle floor, and you look around and at the next stairwell that is ahead of you, and against all odds, there's things up here. There's creatures.
What kind of creatures?
The steps themselves seem to be moving, and as you look closely, you see there are snakes, hundreds of tiny snakes crawling all over the next layer of stairs.
So before I do anything, I don't know about the others, but I'm going to look for the little spirit guys and see if I see any of them going up.
Let's see. The steps rise about 12 feet in the air. Okay, so it's only about 12 feet we got to go on this time. And from where you're at right now, actually, you see a couple of the spirits running around, but they're actually at the top of the stairwell where you're trying to get to. They're not down here with you. You might be able to find some if you go wandering around a little more. You might have to make a circuit of the ziggurat or something like that. But from where you're at right now, none of the little spirits are hanging around you guys. The snakes don't necessarily seem to be wanting to come to you. It seems like they're just minding their own business, hovering around like it's some giant nest, even though it's 20-foot long steps that go up 12 feet. Just hundreds of little snakes swarming and slithering all over. You see some of them coming out of little holes in the stone. That's it. These steps seem in much better repair than the ones below you.
Are the snakes also on the walls?
Yes. What? I'm sorry. You guys are kind of out in the open. These are like steps on the outside of a building, if that makes sense. So the steps are the walls.
Fair.
Well.
Okay.
Or do you mean like at the corners where?
Yeah.
Where the pyramid corners are, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're not on the walls necessarily. No.
Does anybody know what does it speak with animals? I believe.
Ooh, Tenzin starts waving his hands.
That helps exactly no one.
He sticks out his tongue and then sits in front of the snakes, and then he concentrates for 10 minutes, if you let him, and he will cast as a ritual, speak with animals.
Well, while he's doing that, I'll just take a lap around the ziggurat and see if I see any spirit guys then.
Ooh. What color are the snakes?
We call those snakes. They are mostly black, and you see little striped patterning of yellow and blue on them.
Smoke. You have a blue feather.
I do indeed. I am also a small fuzzy creature.
You sure are.
Tummy. I will. Do you want to take it for a second and see if it'll do anything? Or actually, I'll look at one of the dwarves. I'll be like, so one of you guys want to test the blue feather theory?
Sure.
Poison.
Sure, let's do this.
Excellent. Okay. So then either I can hand you the blue feather and you can try to walk in, or I'll wear it and I'll sit on your shoulder, whichever one you want to do.
I'll hold it since I'm touching the ground.
Cool.
It's dumb logic, but I'm going to start with something.
Sounds good.
Yes, I approach the stairs with the blue feather in hand.
Okay. As you get close, you catch a couple of the snakes' attention, and they start looking at you. And as you step closer, they seem to have no intention of moving out of your way. A couple of hisses.
Posturing, is this posturing of an animal that's getting ready to strike, or?
Yeah, nature check me.
Oh, I rolled in the wrong spot.
Roll. Do I need to look at a roll?
No, I got it. I found it.
Okay. 13. Yeah, it seems like like a warning posture, like it's defending its territory or something like that. You're able to get actually pretty close, and they don't quite strike, but it seems like they want to. But if you come onto them, they'll probably start defending their area, so to speak, as an animal does. You could try it though.
No, I'm just gonna do this because I don't want to wait 10 minutes. So, what's the trick here, fellas?
You cast the spell. You're gonna hate me.
Yeah.
You cast the spell and speak at them, and they still make those hissing noises, but it's not. You double check. You're like, you're pretty sure you made the magic go off. You should be able to understand them. What's going on here? The hisses aren't making any sense. It's like they're not actually speaking any sort of snake language. It's just hissing.
Okay, then I'm going to trudge forward. Being very gentle with each step.
Okay.
Like sliding your foot in and like nudging the snake out of the way and trying to get it to where I don't step on the snake and I'm step on solid stair.
As you go and you take a step and you step on one of them, it feels real, and it lets out a very angry hiss, and it goes to bite at your boot.
I'm gonna watch and see what happens with this bite.
And with an 8 to your armor class, it doesn't do much, but you get a whole bunch of the little snakes start reacting. And they start to swarm. And Smoke, you were hanging on real close?
Nope.
Yep.
No, I gave it to him. He had it in his hand. He didn't want me on his shoulder.
That's fair. Okay.
And I did say I was going to look around the ziggurat too before he took the feather. So I don't know if you still want to go through with that or not.
Yep. Yeah, Professor, it seems they're very angry. You can keep trudging forward, though. It's only 12 feet up.
So I feel like that'd be 12 more strikes at least. I want to take a look at our little spirit creatures. How have they reacted to this move?
So you're backing off the stairs?
Well, I'm staying on that first, like right on the first step, but like I'm taking my pressure off the guy that struck at me.
Oh, no, they're angry. They're still coming at you.
All right, well then I'll just backpedal 5 feet.
I'm just backing onto the landing. Yeah.
Yeah, just back up to the point where they return to normal.
Yeah, they don't necessarily seem to follow you. They keep hissing, a little angry, but they let you back up away from where they're at. Smoke, you've made your way around to the other side of the ziggurat, trying to find any of these little guys. And on the opposite stairwell that goes up, because there's one on the other side as well. On the opposite stairwell, you actually see two of these little spirits. Their masks are shaped kind of like one is shaped kind of like a mongoose face, and the other one is like a strange, like a dog or some kind of wolf. And the two of them, let's see, they both have a little orchid and red feather with them, parrot feathers, from what you can tell. And you see that one of them charge up to a snake. This brave little spirit. The mongoose mask, he runs up and grabs one of the snake's attention. He whacks it with the orchid. And yeah, the snake kind of turns and hisses at him. And then it, using the feather, you see it brush the snake with the feather, kind of like just running it along the length where it struck at. And the snake kind of chills for a moment. It stops hissing, seems to calm down a little bit, and then the spirit lays down on the ground in front of it, and the snake comes right at it. It's not necessarily moving angry or anything. It seems calm, but the spirit just lays on the ground and let the snake come at it. And then the opening of its mask grows a little bigger, and the snake crawls right into the spirit and just disappears, like it got swallowed whole. You see the spirit wiggle a little bit, and then he goes winding up the stairway almost on his belly like he's a snake, like he's pretending to be a snake, just going running up the stairs.
That's horrifying.
Very strange.
But I'm going to try it. So I'm going to run back over to the group, and I'm going to say, if I die, bury me at sea. And I'm going to do the exact same thing that I saw the little spirit guy do.
So what are you doing?
Well, I'm going to get one of the snake's attentions, and I'm going to whap it with an orchid.
You're going to whap it with the orchid?
I'm following this step by step, okay? And then I'm going to run my feather down its back. Then I will lay down and open my mouth.
This is not where I thought this was going.
I've eaten worse things. It's fine.
Are you doing this back at the stairwell with your friends, or are you doing it on the far side?
Absolutely.
All right. You guys, Smoke had wandered off trying to find any little spirits or anything, find out what maybe the next thing you had to carry was. You see her come sprinting back and goes, "Watch this." And right next to where Professor, you had just angered some of the snakes, she goes running up right up to one of the snakes, and whacks it with her flower. And the snake starts to hiss, and you see it coiling up like it's going to bite at her, just like it did at your boot. And then she strokes the back of it with the feather, and the snake seems to calm down, or at least it's not as angry, but it's still kind of looking at her, and starts crawling towards her. And she lays down on the ground in front of it and opens her mouth. And the snake comes right up and just straight into her mouth. And you feel the snake slithering in there. You can actually feel the tongue licking a little bit as it finds its way in. And in a way you didn't expect to be possible. It's like the snake just crawls down your throat. Which is strange because it's probably longer than you are. You feel a little bit of a stomach ache, but it's not quite the twisting like of a snake in your stomach that you'd expect. It's something's weird with these, but you sit there going, oh, as the snake goes straight into your throat, and you guys watch it completely disappear down Smoke's throat. And you sit there on the ground and just feel your throat feels a little wide. Your mouth can taste some of the dust that was on the scales.
I'm not going to stand up on my 2 feet. I'm going to stay belly close to the ground and all fours, just kind of like make my way up the stairs.
If you could make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Here goes nothing.
Gerald just watches in pure horror.
You sit there just going, what was all that? But eventually you're like, okay, I can do this. And you start to slither your way up the stairs, and all of the snakes seem to ignore you. It's not necessarily that they're parting, it's that they just kind of ignore your presence like you're another snake as you slither up the stairs. And it takes about 12 feet, but you eventually find your way to the top.
As soon as I get up there, does it feel like the snake is trying to come out, or have I just eaten a snake whole?
No, yeah, snake. You can still feel kind of the effects of your throat and everything stretching, but no, it doesn't feel like the snake's still in there necessarily. Maybe a little bit of a tummy ache, but nope.
Excellent. I'll wave down at everybody from the top of the stairs, like, that's what you need to do.
Gerald's face turns green.
Yeah, Tenzin's gonna shudder a little bit, like, oh my god. He'll follow suit, but he's not happy about it. He's not happy about it at all.
Welcome to Chult, everybody. All right. Tenzin, you. What are you opening with the?
I'll do the same process. Yep, orchid, feather, mouth.
Okay. And you.
Yeah, rinse repeat.
Lay down on the ground, and one of the snakes is coming at you, and it's, despite seeing it work and despite knowing there's probably something else going on here, the snake is still coming at you. And if you could make a Constitution saving throw, please, just to see if you can hold your lunge. And no, this is not against poison for those of you that have benefits for that. All right. Yep. Tenzin, you're able to keep your lunch in and go kind of wandering up. Some of the snakes seem a little angry as you go slithering over them, but that's probably more of a side effect of just how much heavier you are than Smoke is. But they're still not striking as you're going, okay, well, these weird little snakes. And then you make your way to the top.
Making my
and
way.
go roll and flop your way and roll onto the upper landing.
Once
Professor,
I'm up there, I will throw up. Like,
And
one time he can't hold his lunch after the fact.
Right, and all that comes up is the rations you had for lunch. No sign of the snake. Professor, you were right there along with him.
Yep.
Con save, please.
Con save.
I will be as well.
Con save. Who am I missing? Zach? We can have Thoridne con save as well.
Oh no.
Okay. Professor and Tenzien have a decent go of it. They're able to kind of power through and go waddling up there. Gerald, Thoridne, the two of you kind of look at each other like, what the fuck is this? And you're pretty sure you're following the same steps. But that image of the snake coming right at you, it starts to go in your throat. And this is unsettling. Oh my gosh. What led to this? Why is the snake, oh, it's going down my throat? And you kind of gaggle a little bit and make some gagging noises and start to puke. And you each take... That was the wrong dice.
Oh, I liked that number though. Oh
Right.
no.
That's a drastic swing.
What?
That's an 11-point
That's not
swing.
the right number. I keep trying to roll 5d6 and it keeps rolling a d56. There we go. Jesus.
It went higher.
Went
Right.
higher. The first two rolls were a d56. I don't know why it was rolling that. And how did I roll a 2 on a 56-sided die? Anyway,
By getting the number 2.
getting number 2. You take 15 psychic damage and puke up the snake, which then goes wandering off into the crowd of snakes, fleeing.
Nice.
You can try again.
Yep. Gonna drink a little water, calm my nerves, and gonna do that again. That's better.
All right.
Let's go, boy.
Also, Zach, I think you're muted.
Oh, I have been muted. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, no, react again. I want to hear Zach's reaction to the. How was that?
I drank a little bit of water. Like y'all were still like, it was like y'all were responding to me still somehow, like on point.
It's because we know your character.
Maybe you do. Here's my constitution. It's better.
I was kind of responding to your die roll, so yeah, you know, predictions.
Good
Okay,
RP.
you can still feel that sensation as you're like, oh my god, I'm subjecting myself to this again. Okay, here we go. But you steel your nerves, and somehow it's not quite as bad the second time. At least you knew what to expect this time.
Yep. Kept the snake down.
You're able to keep it down, the snake. Okay, and climbing, and we're kind of slithering up on the belly as best we can. You can hear Gerald, your armor scraping as on each stone step as you go.
Yep.
And lots of clinking, and you finally make your way to the top. All the other snakes kind of slithering under your arms and everything as you go. And you roll out onto the third platform. We are now about 60 feet above the jungle floor.
The top, right?
To the top. The shrine at the top of the ziggurat is a simple rectangular structure of brick. The outside walls are decorated with labyrinthine signals, and there's an open doorway at the top into this shrine. Beyond the open doorway, you can see a rather barren, dusty room. But a couple of you, Smoke, Thoridne, you can faintly smell some of the higher notes, higher aroma of incense. You're not sure where it's coming from. It doesn't look like anything's burning, but it's like an after effect of incense. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, looking outside the room and it looks empty.
Does it look like there's a place to put like offerings or anything like that?
see.
Is there like nothing around here that looks like a entrance or anything somewhere else?
There's one on the opposite side. I mean, it's an open doorway, but there were 2 stairwells up on opposite sides of the ziggurat, so you can kind of see out into the jungle through the other end.
Well, let's go inside the ziggurat.
There seem to be possibly more carvings or things like that inside the walls. Yeah, or on the inner walls of this shrine. But yeah,
I would like to decipher the carvings.
Professor marches into the room. And as he crosses the threshold, he disappears.
Okay.
I'll come to you in a
And
moment,
we'll
Professor.
sprint after him, seeing
fine.
that happen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just following him in.
And like he'll start unslinging his great axe as he does so, because he's worried.
You step through the doorway into this presumably barren, dusty room. But then as you cross the threshold, the room is suddenly different. And it's not like it just blinked into existence in front of you. It's like you were always looking at it, but something was wrong with your perception. It's very unsettling. Like I said, kind of like what was the term I used? Like a fairy tale or something. Like you were always looking at what's now in the room. You see hanging lamps that illuminate the room with incense burners nearby that fill the room with exotic scents and curling smoke. There's cushions and reed mats that cover the floor, and there's pots of blooming flowers that line the plastered walls, and a couple of small singing birds that flit from plant to plant. An immense, let's see, on a heap of cushions opposite the doorway lays an immense snake with iridescent scales. Sits there. It rises slowly to a height of about 5 feet. The face is remarkably human-like, though its tongue kind of flickers as it stares directly into your eyes as it moves and raises itself. The tongue flickers a little bit, and then it speaks, saying, "I am Saja Nimbaza. What do you seek in this ancient place? Speak truly, for I know your hearts." And I'm going to give you a picture.
That's a name that I don't think I'll be able to pronounce.
It's very sneaky.
Saja Nabaza?
It's very snaky.
Oh. All right. Okay, stream, this is what we're looking at.
I do not like at all.
It's an uncanny valley snake right here.
What do you seek in this ancient place? Speak truly, for I know your hearts.
We seek the Oracle, whom I suspect is you.
Some have called me that, yes.
Figure we'll just
Seek
start with
the
the easy
Oracle,
question.
you have found it. Mission accomplished. But there should be more, yes?
Yes. I look at the party and realize we didn't talk about the question we want to ask.
Well, let's just be truthful with what we have.
I guess Thoridne will look at this very large snake person thing and say,
We've come here from a very distant land. There's a curse that is spreading across the world, a curse of death. And we are here means to stop it. We don't know what this is being used to do, but we know it can't be anything good. We've spoken with a lich, I believe, who admitted that it was something called the Soulmonger. And if it's related to a phylactery, that means the souls of the dead may be going to that to fuel some sort of Well, we don't know. So we're looking for it so that we can stop whatever this is and potentially even destroy this soulmonger.
And he pauses, and he's just like, "Is that everything?" Like looks back at the group, like, "That's everything, right? More or less."
Oak just gives like a thumbs up, like, yeah, you got it. Oh, also, if there are any allies we should be on the lookout for, but that's the main part.
Oh.
Tenzin makes like a food, like, I want to eat, I'm hungry noise now, because he did just throw up, so.
Bro, you just had a whole snake.
It didn't stay there. He's like, he keeps pointing at his tummy, he's like, it's not there.
He gives kind of a contemplative hum/hiss sound. I don't know about any sort of death curse, but what you describe lines up with what I do see. I have visions of Rasni and his followers scheming something.
We have a name.
They are scheming to end the world from their lair. The visions are not precise. They are imprecise, but a curse that thwarts revival. That could be it. Rosny, she seems to pause for a moment and goes, "You know the man, yes? Yeah?
No, this is the first time I've heard this name.
Rustcy was Rustcy? God, I can't make those sounds with my English speaker's tongue.
Just put the name in chat and move on. There you go. Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul. Very cool. Rustny. Raz, he is very old. He's a man from your lands who fought with the power of conviction and the power of his gods, but became power hungry and eventually was dismissed, banished, perhaps. I've never been able to get a clear story from him, but he came to these lands seeking to conquer and expand and rebuild. He allied himself with the Yuan Ti of these lands, and if the omens are being read correctly, he has integrated himself to become one of them. But his original uprising is why Schult has undead. He tried to raise an army of them for conquering the city of Mesro. But Mesro fled, and he was left wanting. Perhaps he's doing, but it seems the vision, I can speak, I swear. But it seems the omens show he's up to something new, something that will end the world. This death curse. As tragic as you make it sound, seems to be but a side effect. There's more to learn here. But yes, you must seek Krasny and his Yuan Ti followers. They are doing something very dangerous. And on a personal note, Yuan Ti are abominations. We are the true snake-enlightened people. The Naga. If you seek him out, Promise me you'll kill him. As many Yuan-Ti as you can. Prevent any punishment for their past atrocities and prevent any possibility of a recurrence. She'll stop speaking now.
So I assume the blue mist is in conjunction with Raz and his failed army attempt.
A blue mist?
Yeah, blue mist moves across the lands.
The mists, while dangerous, are just mists. They did not come from Raz. They were here long before him and will be here long after he's gone.
Okay.
Some say they are left over from wars between gods. But all that memory is lost. Have you been afflicted by this?
No, we've been able to steer clear of it, but we just figured if we cleanse the lands of Raz, then maybe the mist would go if they were attached to him. But that does not sound like it is the issue.
Tenzin will also point to the book, the diary that's on the professor. That's the diary of the spirit, the whatever guardian. And then like he'll tap the professor and then be like, "What do you think about that one?"
I don't have any food for you.
He'll
Smoke
smack him
will,
upside the head and then hit it again, and point at it again.
I don't have any food.
Smoke will translate for the professor and be like, he's asking about the guy that we were looking for, the guardian that we were looking for, that we think the goblins might have absconded with.
I mean, there were 3 tracks there. Goblins aren't always the...
Tenzin
Goblins were
like
the ones that were
sighs, rubs his forehead, and then
Smoke
gestures
will look
towards Naga
at
like
Naga and say, a question for you, if you'll permit us another one. We were given the diary of was he a wizard? I think he was a wizard. Of a gentleman who was going through the forest, and he had some kind of guardian with him and the means to control it. He went missing, and so did that means of controlling the guardian. Would you happen to have any inkling on where that might have gone?
You seek power.
No, we seek...
More like we seek allies.
Yeah.
This is true. The wizard that you speak of is gone. He's been dead many years. His companion, you see her eyes kind of gloss over briefly. A very white film, faint white film. It's not super noticeable, but you can kind of see it there because she was staring at you. She says, she looks at it and says, "The guardian lies to the east of here.
Oh, we found the guardian.
He is worshipped. His connection also lies to the east. It is worshipped as well."
Tenzin starts
right,
like,
fine, you win it.
Yelia, I see something. A place? a name, Yeliark. And another connection, a place, a name, a Drong Long Long. Drong Long Long. I do not know more than this. Her eyes kind of come back. The echoes of this construct are across the peninsula, but that is where I hear omens of him.
I have a question. Have we asked, and Thoridne will pull out the map of Scholt, and he'll say, Rasneed, he must have a place that he's operating out of, where he might be basing his rituals and magics out of. Where is that? Do you know?
I do not know if you will find him here, but the omens speak of his plan coming from the ancient city, capital city of Omu. Omu.
Okay.
It was a large central city in the days when the peninsula ruled itself, before the spell plague, thousands of years ago. The old gods were there, but no more. That is where he works his plan.
Do you know about where Omu is? I don't think that we should go straight there, but knowing where to focus our attention on might help.
It lies. Omu lies between the peaks of flame and the valley of lost honor. It's low. It has sunken below the level of the surrounding jungle. So perhaps the best way to spot it would be from the air or some sort of nearby high ground. That is what I know of it. She doesn't seem to like know the map very well. There's huge blank spots on your map, and so it's like
That's huge, though, to know the general area.
So she gives names of it and gives you a rough detail of its layout. That it's sunken below the surrounding jungle. She says it's between the peaks of flame and the valley of lost honor. Wherever that is.
Do you think any settlements of UNT would know? Like if we were to walk our way into UNT village, would they possibly know where exactly to find him?
Are you asking if I could walk into the bad guy's camp and ask him what their leader is?
I mean, listen, okay? I've run into dumber people. Plus, if I'm going to be wrecking their shit, I can ask a couple questions along the way.
Fair. We've got one in the party.
You're asking her, or you're asking your party members?
Her. If she thinks UNT might know his exact location.
I've never known UNT to be particularly pleasant company. I'm not certain. Smoke, make me a just a intelligence, a nature check, I guess.
It's pretty on brand.
Well, that's just a big fart noise.
Pretty much.
Yeah. She seems very dismissive of the Yuan Ti. Not saying it's a bad plan, but she seems to particularly dislike them. So she may or may not be a biased source for that.
Fair enough. I mean, either way, I'm gonna be wrecking their shit and taking their stuff, so I'm down for it.
Stabby Mac, Stabber Cat. I have one last thing. You mentioned being able to see from the air, and one night I witnessed a giant ball flying through the air. Is that commonplace for Chul?
Sounds like the goblins. Probably something they would make.
Those goblins are eating a big old ball.
I'll take your word for it. They do like surprising people.
Concur.
Now, before you depart, I can grant you a blessing, a temporary one. But in exchange, promise me you will bring Ras Nsi to justice. I would not see him continue to bring about calamity after calamity.
And by justice, you mean spill his blood on the land.
If that is what it would take, that is what I would do.
Tenzin gives a thumbs up right away. Like,
So does Smoke. Smoke's like, yeah.
All right.
Farewell.
Well, we didn't hear from our cleric or our boy.
Gerald will frown a little bit and be like, well, I don't really like killing people, but we will do you this justice.
And I'm assuming Zach's muted, so I'm just gonna pretend he's nodding along.
I am nodding along. I think I'm yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, honestly, like, what else are we gonna do? Let this guy just continue on with his ritual thing that he's, trying to deal with?
No, absolutely not.
All right. Very well then. It was good to meet you all. But I doubt we shall see each other again. Take care. And you feel yourselves slowly, your vision starts to fade. You're slowly starting to pass out. And as you come to, you find yourselves lying on the ground, on the floor of the empty, dusty room, dusty shrine at the top of the ziggurat. And you went in there, a couple hours into the afternoon, but as you slowly sit up, you see the sun rising over the top of the trees. First thing in the morning.
Man, here I was hoping she had teleported us all the way back down to the bottom.
You have very wishful thinking.
Right. And you all feel a very strange sensation. You have each received a charm, supernatural charm. You can sense the Naga's presence in your mind. And let's see. Let me double check what these all are. When you hit dice, you should. Clear.
Well,
Restoration. Okay. Thoridne,
mm-hmm.
your charm, I'm pulling these from the Dungeon Master's Guide. Your charm is known as the Charm of Restoration. It has 6 charges.
Okay.
And you can use an action to expend some or all of the charges to cast greater or lesser restoration. And the charm, and so you could do one of each, or you could do 3 lessers, basically.
This is not an item or anything that's in the equipment. Looks like.
No, it's like a strange energy, a presence you can feel in the back of your mind.
Okay.
Supernatural charm.
Love it.
Gerald,
Yes.
you have the charm of dark vision. You can cast the dark vision spell without components as an action, up to 3 times.
Total 3 times.
Total of 3 times, and then the
Like,
charm disappears.
And then it's gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
As an action, no components. Grant yourself dark vision. Tenzien, the charm of heroism. As an action, you can give yourself the effect of drinking a potion of heroism. It should be good fun. This is dangerous, but Professor,
Excellent.
the charm of animal conjuring.
See why it's dangerous. Less for us, but more for you.
You have 3 castings of the conjure animal spell as a 3rd level, as an action. And smoke. Well, that's boring. What is this? The charm of vitality, which, similar to Tenzin's, allows you as an action to give yourself the effect of a potion of vitality, which removes exhaustion, disease, poison, and then for the next 24 hours you regain maximum hit points from any hit die you spend. So yeah, supernatural charms.
Well, this actually went really, really well so far. I mean,
Actually, I'm going to modify Smoke and Tenzin's and make them 3 uses. Because I don't know why those are single use compared to the others. Yeah, the 2 potion equivalents, the heroism and vitality, those are going to be 3 uses.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just basically, I guess, because then I, in effectively just give myself 3 potions of heroism that I just can't sell.
If that's easier for you to track it, yeah, absolutely. And if you guys want me to make like an item or a feat or something that adds it to your spell list, we can do that. And we can fiddle with D&D Beyond to make it show up. I've got ideas on how to make that happen. I didn't come prepared with it, but yeah. So it was, just to make sure I tracked it, it was Thoridne, Professor, Tenzien, Thoridne, Gerald, Tenzien, the Professor, and Smoke. That was the order of the charms. And you wake up at the top of the ziggurat, and it's early morning. You see the sun just cresting over the jungle.
Did we get a long rest with that?
Sure.
nice.
Beautiful.
I feel indifferent about the long rest, so go for it. Have fun.
All right. Without any better understanding of what we're going through, I'm going to try to go down the same way that we came up.
You're gonna swallow a snake again?
Do I have to swallow another one?
You're like, do I have to?
I mean, you're the one that said you were going to.
Does it look like the snakes have beef if we're just trying to go down, or?
Are there even snakes anymore?
That was my next question.
Ooh.
Could just run and jump over them?
Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Let me double check the note here.
I'm still quite pleased that we know exactly where we would more or less we need to go instead of having the entire peninsula to try to kind of figure out.
Okay, yeah. The snakes are gone. Snakes are gone. Foliage still grows up around the base, but the snakes are gone. And as you begin walking down the stairs, unless anyone was doing anything while we're still up here, but
No.
as you walk down the stairs, the snakes aren't there to harass you. For the second stairwell, the stone seems solid and structurally sound, and then there's still vines and whatnot down. But as you get closer, you see a path, a somewhat cleared path that leads down the steps all the way to the ground. And around the base of the ziggurat, where the path lets out, a number of new flowers have sprung up there. Lots of little blue tulips that are all around there to greet you.
So, while I'm up at the top of the ziggurat, I know I probably can't see much, but I would like to make at least a sketch of the surrounding area if I can, or note like what's around us, if I can see in any of those squares.
Jungle.
That's what I figured. I just didn't know if maybe there was like a smoke fire or something, or.
To your north, you can see the peaks of the mountains poking out, the coastal range there.
Yeah, this is exactly what I figured. If it's just the basics, then that's fine. You don't have to spend time on it.
You can kind of see a cutout a couple miles away, showing like a break in the trees that you're pretty certain is the river that you guys crossed earlier. And yeah, you can kind of just make out some of the terrain. Honestly, I'm kind of describing what's on the map though, so it's just you can see the
no, that's fine.
Like cut down to your west slightly. Yeah.
I was just wondering if maybe like there was a giant clearing that got made or something.
Oh, gotcha. No, the jungle is still coming up on the ziggurat.
When we get to the bottom, I'd like to take 2 of the blue tulips and make a little bouquet with my orchid and the feathers that I got, and kind of keep them in my backpack.
Sure.
And then I want to give our guide the lowdown for how to get to the top.
As you guys come down, you see Eku there. She has a camp, or she has a tent set up, and she's clearly has remnants of a fire. She has set up, and she seems to be watering herself and carving on a stick. And she seems surprised when you guys come back down. My goodness, I was starting to wonder if maybe you'd been taken. What happened? You were up there for so long.
We learned what we needed to.
How long were we gone?
Just one night.
So how familiar are you with Nagas?
In Naga? You met the Naga?
That is the Oracle.
Oh my. This is interesting.
Yep.
Nagas are said to be immortal, and typically guardians of something, whatever it is they might be guarding. The Oracle is a Naga.
I don't think she is here anymore, though.
Well, she's not here for us anymore. But if you need to go up to the top, you're going to need one of these orchids, a red feather, and then be willing to bop and stroke and then eat a snake.
Well, when you put it like that.
I purposely chose those words. I knew exactly what I was doing.
You had to eat a naga?
No. There are fake snakes that are like snakes that you have to eat to be able to traverse the last test before we got to the naga.
Fascinating.
Yep.
Well,
Now you have the inside knowledge.
so we return to Nianzaru then, yes?
Well, where's the place you needed to go?
She didn't have one.
I thought you wanted us to help her get her mask back or something.
No, that was one of the other ones.
Let me
One
double
wanted a
check.
mask, one wanted a dwarf thing, and then the other two were just like, you had to hire us.
I thought Echo was the one that wanted the mask.
No.
Well, if you're here to do what I would like, then I would be happy to take you to Umbala. A witch named Nani Pupu lives there. I would very much like to see her gone. But that's if I'm picking our destination.
Let's do it. Because I think that's close, yeah?
Yeah, it's on the way back to the river.
Ah. Yeah, might as well make our way around towards Camp Vengeance, I guess.
Right?
Well,
Hey,
Well,
come
that's
on.
a river, so
Nanny
well,
nanny boo boo?
Tenzin will also point at the diary again. Like, we kind of know what we got to do with this sort of thing, right? We could do that.
I
too.
told you I don't have any food.
Again.
Oh my
punch
goodness.
in the face.
Hey, look at that. We got a big section now. Thank you, Nathan.
Can we just get like this one and that one just for freebies?
No, they're on the other side of a mountain.
It's gonna ruin it. We already were by them. It's like yeah.
Straight to Mbala. Let's go.
Bop.
I think I'm okay with
Bop,
it.
bop, bop.
Which band was that?
Hanson.
That's what it was. Gosh, that was popular when I was in elementary school.
Oh my god.
And every middle school girl or every elementary school girl loved them.
I feel so old now.
Yeah.
So sorry, Jason.
Don't
So
feel
sorry.
bad. I'm not there with you. I knew what it was, more or less.
No, it was high school.
For you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, elementary on my end.
While we're traveling, I want to ask Eku what she knows about the Yuan tea.
I'm sorry, it was middle school.
Nathan, you're muted.
Okay, just making sure I understand the plot here. So you guys are wanting to head straight to Mbala.
Yeah, why not?
Well, I mean, we
Okay.
want to go scout it out and make sure we feel like we can take her. Because we might get there and realize, oh, this is a level 10 creature. We need to come back later.
Oh, and before I forget, at the end of tonight's session, whenever that might be, let's go ahead and level up to level 4, I think.
Yes.
Just don't let me forget that. Not right this moment, but just because we got another 45 minutes on the session, but yeah. Let's see. So we're plotting out towards Mbala. By her reckoning, that's going to take about 6 days, about 60 miles, traveling through the jungle.
Let's say 60 days.
60 days.
And then we're
Alright.
only another 4 days from Camp Vengeance.
All right, that'll work.
Okay. Um. Okay, so what was the discussion you were having with Eku?
I just wanted to kind of get a general understanding of what she knows about the Yuan Ti. Just conversation as we're walking.
She tells you that. Let's see, I'm not. How long? Oh, that's AFK. Let me double check if there's things I should tell you about the Yuan Ti. Okay. She said the Yuan Ti are a strange kind of snake people. They're old. They're an older race, but they're some sort of abomination, a union of human and snake. There are. It's unclear if they were created by a god or if they made themselves or something. It's said it's possible to become a Yuan Ti, though it's very grotesque. There is at least one conclave of Yuan Ti living on the island, the peninsula. But yeah, she tries to avoid them because they're in general a very selfish, tribalist kind of lot. Yeah, but they are also highly intelligent. They've been known on more than one occasion to, because some of them can pass as human or almost human. So they've been known on occasion to send spies into villages and cities for who knows what. She's not sure. Every now and then you hear a story of someone being caught, though most of the time stories of Yuan Ti are fear-mongering. Yuan Ti in disguise, things like that. Can't imagine a Naga would be overly fond of Yuan Ti abominations.
They were not.
She doesn't. She definitely wasn't. Yeah.
Mm. So you made friends with the little chewingas back there? They're cute, aren't they?
I questioned some of their dietary choices, but yeah, they were pretty cute. So what's the deal with this witch?
Nani poo.
Nani poo poo.
Why can't I speak? I don't need that. I don't need this page. I do need this. And and make sure I have that. There's she tells you a tale of the city of Umbala. It was a it was once the seat of like a small kingdom out here. There's many of those throughout Jolt, but this was one of them. They were the seat of their own little kingdom. But many years ago, the people started to die off little by little. Nani Pupu allegedly is the only survivor. She tells people that the city of Umbala were killed by terrafolk that live on another plateau nearby, but Eku doesn't believe it. She thinks Nani Pupu did something that killed the people of Umbala. Eku seems very vitriolic about this. She says she really liked the people that lived in Umbala, and is somewhat angry that the whole city has been wiped out, and she blames Nani Pupu for it. Calls her a witch. She doesn't know the extent of Nani Pupu's power, but as you're talking with her, it seems like Nani Pupu does have some sort of magical ability. It's unclear if it's as dangerous as what she's saying, but she does seem to have some sort of magic. Maybe just a minor healing or divination or something. Wicked old lady. But yeah, apparently she still lives in the ruins of Umbala out there. Alone. But kind of a hermit. Yeah.
Good to know.
And it was evening and it was morning. The river! Let's see. Actually, you know what? This feels really satisfying right now. Unless there was something else you guys want to do, I'm almost thinking maybe we just call the session right here. And then we can gear up next time to dive into whatever's in Umbala.
I like that idea.
I mean, it's either that or we do the travel now, and so that way we can just
Immediately start combat. Yeah.
or start at Umbala.
Yeah, let's do the travel, because that could be a bunch of, hey, nothing happens, right? Or if
Right.
if it generates a thing, maybe we can make sure it's a smaller combat just to finish off and earn the level up or something.
Like a small little patch of dinosaurs. Something like that.
No dinosaurs.
The difference between the two. Smoke. Small patch of dinosaurs. And I'm like, 5 purple worms, 1 for each of us.
Listen, I have ulterior motives, and I'm not afraid to say it.
You cannot have an egg.
I can if we kill their
really-
parents.
Is it really an ulterior motive if you say it out loud?
No,
I
it's
think
not.
that's semantics. Yeah, that doesn't matter. What matters is if we run into a patch of dinosaurs and they're like, hey, you're in a territory, you look like food, we're going to kill you, and then we kill them in self-defense, then who's going to watch their eggs? I'm just doing a civil service by making sure that the eggs are okay.
For omelets later, right?
Yeah.
All right. So it's going to take us 6 days, and so that's 6 chances of something happening, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
All right. I'm going to go ahead now and preemptively tick down my insect repellent 6 more.
Agreed.
I'm now at 27 days left. After that, then I get to deal with the annoying bugs.
Next time we're buying 90 days worth, just to be safe.
Yeah, we're cutting it really close this time. Anything got really quiet.
Sorry, reading.
Yeah, you're reading and doing rolls.
DM
doing
things.
rolls, yeah. DM things. What are you guys feeling right now as the rough outline for your plans? Obviously, until you get more information, but you're thinking just Umbala and then
I think
Clump
head
Umbala.
back where you came, or try to find somewhere else. What are you feeling?
Probably
I think
Umbala,
we should go
Camp
back to the
Vengeance.
port.
Well, depending on how much we have once we get back to Camp Vengeance.
I mean, we could always go look for that amulet. Now that
Because
we
we're
know
gonna
it's
have to, we're gonna have to walk back to the port anyway because the boats have already left.
Okay.
Right. So, and we were following where we think the amulet was, and we just gotta find out what these 2 names mean was it Yellyark or Yellyark and Dungrunglung?
Dungrunglung. Which
I
sound
mean,
like, aren't
we-
those things
yeah,
called
those are the
runs or
pygmies.
something? Those are the pygmy frogs, right?
Yeah.
And
That
that's
sounds
at
like
a
it.
that's at a canal or a river opening mouth.
I thought Yellyark was the goblin name, wasn't it?
Iliark is the goblins. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Whatever.
Dungrunglung is the frog people.
yeah.
Oh. I mean, whatever. But basically, Mbala, Camp Vengeance, and then basically on our way back to Port Nyanzaru, continue following the goblin trail to hopefully see where the goblins are, and then just keep pushing east until we get back to Port Nyanzaru.
I mean, I also don't want to push it with our insect repellent.
We would have to go along the river. This is like 2 spaces or 3 spaces north of the river, right? So it's a 2 or 3 extra uses. And
Why don't we get to Mbala first and then kind of figure out what we're doing? I mean, we could get there, things could happen, it changes exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, this is all fluid, but again, like the next 2 stops are going to be probably Mbala and then Camp Vengeance. And then maybe at Camp Vengeance we can refigure out what we're going to do.
I'm good with that. I'd say we make at least to that point and then figure out where to go from there.
Yeah.
All right, so the days wear on as you trek through the jungle and ford the river again and continue on. What is that? Okay. And day after day, you start seeing strange tracks, strange signs in the jungle. A trampled bush there, broken or uprooted trees here.
Oh fuck.
But also strange things like gigantic boot prints or droppings from a creature that's out of place, like a large winter wolf or something. Why would there be one of those in the jungle? And then eventually you even start to see what look like runes, like 3-foot high trail marking runes carved into trees or etched into boulders or things like that. And then one of the days, as you are settling in for dinner, for an evening meal, it's still light out, but you hear thumping and crunching of something giant, something large, moving through the trees. You hear branches snapping and a trunk fall to the ground as something moves through the forest in roughly your direction.
I'm immediately going to go stealth into hiding.
I would also like to attempt to stealth into hiding. Oh, good. I had disadvantage on the +0. Let's go. It could have been
That
far
was
worse.
Disadvantage, but all right. Oh, with the armor, yeah.
Yeah. So, smoke just literally vanishes like a wisp of smoke.
Exactly.
All right. You hear a little rumbling as the sound becomes more distinct, large footfalls, and you can pick out the sounds a little better. It sounds like not just one thing, but 2 or 3. And then from the opposite direction, not the opposite direction, 90 degrees, like you hear the sounds coming from the south. And then suddenly from the west, a large wolf bounds into your camp. This creature is literally large size, like it's larger than any of you, with slick white, almost bluish fur. This wolf is completely out of place in the jungle. And around that time, a number of large giants stroll into the camp. Not necessarily. They pause in surprise, and you can see them. It doesn't seem like they were particularly expecting to find you in their path. This is just the direction they were headed. But then they pause, and you see them clutching onto walking sticks, slightly defensively. There's large bags on their large packs that they're carrying on their backs.
What kind of giants are they?
These appear to be frost giants.
That feels very out of place.
Large, with a cool blue skin coloring, large white beards that trail down the front. A couple of frost giants, and there in total you see 3 frost giants and 2 of these large winter wolves. As they stop and take you in, you see one of them kind of leans in slightly and starts looking at each of your faces, or at least the 3 of you can see. Yes, Thoridne, you see one looking at you.
my hide was not good. Are they saying anything?
At first, no. They're just kind of looking, gazing. And then one of them speaks, says, "Do you know the common tongue?"
Thoridne will say yes, and then in giant he will say,
But I also know the tongue of the giants.
Ah, good. And he switches to giant, since you offered.
yeah, I figured it'd be easier for him anyway. I would like to not have to fight, what was it, 3 frost giants and 2 large wolves. That feels
Level
like a
4.
bad idea. So, all right. There's a conversation that's going to happen.
You see them. He's kind of eyeing each of you, and his eyes settle for a little bit longer on Gerald for some reason. But then speaks again and says, "We search the jungle for the man. We search for a man named Artus Simber. Do you know this man?"
No, I don't think we've heard that name at all.
Actually, have we, Nathan? I don't recall it at all ever.
We did.
Wasn't
At
that the guy that the lady was looking for? Her
at
father?
Camp Entrance, yeah.
Oh.
She approached Tenzien and Gerald, right?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No?
That was.
I think that's from Emma.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Started shooting on a power cord.
Oh.
She's looking to become
She's an
enlightened.
Huh. A real electrifying personality.
There were 2 jokes at once, and I can't tell which one's Danny's losing it to over here. But,
Okay.
anyway, so he asks that in giant, but you don't. You tell him you don't know this.
Yeah, I don't recall hearing that name ever.
He turns to the others of you sitting around, and he switches to common, and he goes, "Artus Cinder, do you know of this man?"
Timber? No.
Gerald will speak up and say, we don't know him personally, but we've heard his name in passing.
So you know of him. Where is he?
We don't know where he is. We've also been looking for him, kind of, as we've been traversing through the jungle.
He gives you kind of a side eye, like slightly surprised, and then suspicious. This guy has all the subtlety of a charging mammoth.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm confused too. Thoridne looks very confused that he's hearing about this. Like, when did this happen?
Kind of he looks at you and says, "Why do you seek Artis?"
His daughter was looking for him.
Where is his daughter now?
I mean, last we saw her, she was at Camp Vengeance, but I believe she was going to leave when we were leaving, but she didn't tell me where she was going. We parted ways before I got to talk
Camp
to her.
Vengeance. This is a human settlement.
I think so. They looked human.
Yes, it is.
Which direction is this?
I am vaguely going to point to the northeast.
Why are you searching for him?
We need his expertise.
In what?
That is the concern of giants. If you find this man, bring him to Yakarta Bay. We will reward his return handsomely.
That's way over here, right? Jahaka Bay?
Yeah, he vaguely waves in the southwest.
Okay.
As I just kind of like northeast, he waves southwest.
Seek his Valspield. I can't say it. It's a stupid English tongue. Valspield.
Valspeed?
Yes, and you hearing that in your with your giant knowledge, you translate it as whale spear. But the way he says it implies it's not literal. Perhaps that's the name of a ship or something. He tells you to seek Valspeed if you find Artis.
Okay.
Then he turns. Oh, I'm sorry. What's up?
No, nothing. Go ahead.
And then he turns and they look at he looks at the other two giants near him. Come, and they turn and leave your camp, and they begin walking in the direction that the professor had pointed.
Smoke's just gonna pop out of the darkness and just gonna be like, "Great job, kid. It'll be lucky if Camp Vengeance is still there when we make it back."
What? I was being helpful. He asked about the guy, and I knew of the guy, so I told him what I knew.
This is true, but what do you also know of the humans that were at Camp Vengeance? Were they the ask questions first and fight later type of people, or were they the kind of people who were like, "There's a threat, we're gonna fight"?
I made a giant sweeping motion. Camp Vengeance is less than maybe a mile, and I'm swept over the course of, I don't know, let's say 40 miles across. It'll take them time to find it.
Camp Vengeance is like 50 miles or 60 miles away. Every hex is 10.
Right.
Thing.
I'm just saying, I did a sweeping motion across this giant area up there, so they're not going to go beeline straight for it.
I didn't even realize we had met somebody looking for this person. Oh, was it when I was helping with the medical people?
Yeah, and
That explains everything.
her dad's been gone for like a month. Honestly, I don't think his chances of survival are very high at this point if he's been out by himself in the jungle for a month. So I didn't really think it that important to relay any kind of information until now. But there we go. My mistake. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Maybe he'll be in Imbala. You never know.
Surprise.
Well, shall we continue on our way?
Oh, yay, consequences. Here we go. I'm sure they'll be fine.
Famous last words.
You can't be rude, right? Someone asks you a question, you answer it.
Yeah.
I'm going back to sleep.
Emma thinks that's hilarious.
Your mom? Is that what you said?
No, Emma.
Emma thinks, yes, that's right, Emma.
It's because she's enlightened now.
Yep.
Emma wants to tear down the patriarchy. It's fine.
She does.
Jesus. Let's see.
Could have gone a lot worse.
Backwards.
And it was evening, and it was morning. And the trek continues, and you start getting into... You start leaving the jungle, and it starts to get much more rocky. You're seeing large stone outcroppings, taller terrain, some rocky foothills, things like that, that you're traveling up more and more. Gets you a little bit of a surrounding view as you go. What? That's an AFK button. Oops, didn't mean to hit that.
The GM's AFK. Quick.
Right?
Roll all the crits. Tell them what happened.
And with that actually comes a little bit of a taller view of the surrounding area. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal these.
Hey, look at that. It's not full jungle. That makes travel maybe a little easier. At least we can see what's coming.
Yeah, you guys aren't really rolling anything as far as random encounters, other than the frost giants. All right. And it's slow going, takes a number of days, but eventually you come across, what is this? There's a 1,800 foot high plateau with sheer cliffs that rises above heaps of boulders that are as big as like ships. There's a narrow path cut into the cliff face that seems to climb all the way to the top. Path begins on the north side of the plateau, and through many switchbacks it winds across the cliff face for like 3 miles before reaching the top. The width varies, but it averages about 5 feet wide. You see tumbled boulders and tangled roots that block the path in many places. But you can mostly work around the obstruction safely. Yeah, as Eku leads you closer, it's like this is it. That's the plateau. Imbala was at the top. It's a heck of a trek. The first going up the side of the plateau is like 3 hours, trekking back and forth.
Switchbacks.
Yeah. As you climb ever higher above the tree line, you get a nice kind of stunning view of the surrounding wilderness. But I'm going to reveal a whole bunch of map here.
Nice. I love map reveal.
We're going to see how this goes. Let's see, how far does this see?
Oh, we're about to see like the whole river basin, aren't we?
Okay. You're treated to a stunning view of the surrounding wilderness. Oh, they can see that far? Holy crap. Okay.
How far is that far?
Well,
Holy.
for one, you can see the entirety of the Aldani Basin.
Oh, there's not trees there. That's nice.
That makes more sense. If it's like a water basin.
I'm going to take our map and no, not our map. Maybe if you flip to the back of the journal and sketch in this basin.
Yeah, things are marked on the map, but you don't know what they mean, so I don't care.
Cool.
Holy crap.
I'll vaguely describe what it is. You can see over there.
See for days.
Oh, it's nice to actually have map to look at now.
We'll do that. And then...
So is this like a valley or is that like a massive lake?
And actually, I'm going to go ahead and reveal all of this, I think. Yeah. This is above the tree line. You can kind of see a lot of this, too.
Hey.
Wow. All right.
No, I think this is like wetlands, honestly. Because like this is water and lakes and stuff. Like this looks like it's like swampy, just river basin land.
So given that we can see this far, have we been like seeing this plateau as we traveled and just like...
Well, it was above the canopy.
Yeah, but could we see through the canopy?
That's true.
You put those two
We might have
hexagons back
seen it
right
if we
now.
were paying attention at Oralunga,
No.
but
Oh, no! Take them off, please.
No, leave him there.
Yeah, so cool. I'm going to do that.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
well then.
So you can see, let's
River
see,
Tete.
to the southeast is the Aldani Basin, a large lowland area where a bunch of rivers meet. What is this? The Shonistar and Tath rivers flow out of this basin. The Shenstar River is the one that you paddled along when you came here in the first place. Yeah. And then the Tath River. Oh, the Tath River is
That's
down
this one over here.
that way. So both of those rivers are flowing out of the basin. Let's see, it's a marshy kind of upland basin. You can see lots of various types of dinosaurs and tall plateaus and things they're foraging down there. Not the plateaus, the dinosaurs. But also walls of like dense foliage that enclose the marsh. So I guess, yeah, it's kind of a marshy thing.
Swamp.
Yep.
Eku points out a number of these things because this is a great vantage point. She actually says, fun fact, the Aldani Basin is named after the Aldani people. They're I've only met them a handful of times. They're a strange type of I guess lobster folk. I don't know what else to call them.
Crawfish.
There's been no sightings of Aldani in years, and many people believe they've been entirely wiped out, but it's possible some of them still live in the area. At this point, they're basically childhood fables about the eerie lobster folk that lived in the rivers. I haven't seen one in decades, though, so. Let's see. With the. Beyond that is. Oh, the Heart of Ubtao. The Heart of Ubtao. You can actually just kind of make it out over there. There's a strange, massive chunk of earth and rock that is floating. Basically, it drifts over the swampy forest below it. It's hard to tell at this distance, but it looks like maybe a couple 100 feet off the ground.
I really
huge
just dropped
chunk
that
of
rock
rock,
on him.
and there's a large tree on the stone, on the rock that's floating. And she tells you it's hard to see from here, but if you get closer, the way the roots and the rock are arranged, it makes it look like a heart, like the organ, not a child's drawing shape, but it looks like an actual heart. But yeah, that's a strange natural wonder, this rock and tree just floating over the marsh. And yeah, lots of forests going in various directions. See any other? It's the Heart of Ubtao. And then you can actually just make out the top of the ziggurat back at Oraluga. You can just vaguely see it through the sloping of the land. And if I could get a perception check, we'll see if anyone spots anything else.
Sure. Well, I don't. I'm too short.
I rolled to a 19 and then rolled back to a 9.
Okay.
Gerald sees nothing.
Legit see nothing.
What?
You need to roll a perception check.
Well, I'll decide. Tenzien changes this, but yeah, you just see this all spreading out before you. The about 100 feet below the lip of the plateau, which is proceeding west across the cliff at that point. The path veers directly into like a natural cleft in the stone face, where you can see cut are steps. And Eku leads you in that direction. Yeah, along the path towards this. You see the steps are cut into about a 15-foot wide crevice, and there's carvings. There's scenes of jungle predators, flying lizards, erupting volcanoes. They're all carved in a shallow relief in the walls, in ways that make creative use of the natural shape of the rock. And when you reach the top of the steps, the stone steps emerge onto the top of the plateau. Beneath a once grand but now decrepit wooden gateway. The gates that sealed the entrance are long since rotted away. Only their rusted iron hinges and the reinforcing bands remain. But in their place are heaps of human skulls. Picked clean of all flesh and bleached white by the sun, they kind of grin up at you from the roadway and down from atop towering mounds. This is all that remains of the former residents. All of this
15, if that matters.
15? Yeah, I saw that.
Gotcha.
Excellent. I won't tell you what it was that the 15 revealed or did not reveal. but it was in there somewhere.
Rotted away.
Okay.
Or wasn't in there somewhere. Yeah. The way of perception checks. This is a much better place to stop, I think.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mbala.
Excellent,
But
because Tiamat has risen.
Tiamat has risen.
Perfect. And don't forget to level up, everybody.
Yeah!
Level 4. It's the level for ASIs and feats and all that good stuff. If you have any questions or whatever, let me know. I think all the character creation guidelines are still in there.
is
this channel?
Is there stuff to buy in Impala?
It's a dead city.
Oh, okay.
There shouldn't be any residents except Nani Poo.
Nani Poo Poo.
You can ask her. When we find her, see if there's anything to
throw her off
purchase.
the ledge, we'll be fine.
53 hit points and an armor class of 17, walking around bare chested. Tenzin is a tank.
Alright, I'm gonna hop off to switch back to mom duties.
Same.
All right. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye!
Good night.
Oh, good.